Alright guys, welcome back. So in the last two parts we built the backend and frontend for our social media application, which was the threads, and now it is time to connect both of them. And instead of having it in one video, I decided to add remaining features as smaller chunks. So each next video we will add one feature at a time. And in this part we will add the authentication page where users can sign up and log in. And before we get into coding, let me just give you a quick demo of the end result of the project. So at the end of this series, the project should look like this. So initially I am in the authentication page where I can sign up or I can log in. I already have an account, so I'll just go ahead and try to log in. So if I put the wrong password, I will not be able to log in, but if I have the correct one, I can just go ahead and log in. And in my homepage, I can only see the posts of the user that I follow, and in this case I only follow Jane Doe and Claudia. I can like a post, or let's say I can reply to a post, and if a post doesn't have any, let's say, replies, we're gonna show this boring emoji. So I'll just go ahead and just put a reply. So I'll in this case say react and reply, and now as you can see our reply posted. And if we go to the post, we'll see our reply here, and we can go to homepage again. I can go to the profile of this user, and if I try to unfollow her, and in my homepage I will not see her posts anymore. Okay, and now I can go to my own profile page and I can create a post here, or I can create in the homepage as well. So here let's just create a post. I will say this is a test post, and I can put the image as well. So I'll just go ahead and select this, and if I post this, it's gonna take some time, but there we go. Now our post is created, and it is, so the UI updated immediately. And now I am also able to delete this post since I am the owner of this post. So when I click to that, it's gonna say, are you sure you want to delete this post? And I'll say yes, just delete that, and post deleted successfully. And I can update my profile when I click to that, and I'll be in this update page where I can change the avatar, or I can just change any information that I want. So I'll just change my bio where I'll just say test information, or just info. If I just submit that, it's gonna update the update my profile, and if I just go there, as you can see, it's just updated successfully. And lastly, I can just log out from this account, and as you can see, the profile and home icon just gone. And here, instead of create post, we have login or register button. If I click to that, I'll be in the authentication page. So with that, let's get started. Okay, so this is where we left our project, right? So we had the front end and back end folders. Now what I'll do is go and create a new terminal, and on the left I'll say cd frontend, and I'll say npm run dev to start the client, and here go to cd backend and then npm run dev as well. Now let's see if they all start. So I'll go to my client, and now I just want to change this port to 3000, and the way to do this in Vite is that you have this vite.config.js. I'll just say server, it's gonna be port of 3000. I'll save it, and now we can just go to here, and there we go. So we had this homepage which I added after that first part. Inside the source, you go to app.jsx. So this is when you go to homepage, you'll get this homepage component, which is just a button with link that takes us to a profile page. Okay, I'll just delete this and also delete this line. Okay, save both of these, and also our backend connected, and started, and it's connected to MongoDB. So here let's go to profile page, and this is what we have built so far. Okay, amazing. Now what we'll do is to actually add the authentication page. So here I'll just duplicate this line, and if I go to /auth, I'll have my authentication page, which I need to create inside the pages folder. So I'll just say auth page.jsx. and RAFCE. In here, just delete this, save it, import this, save it, and so let's go to /auth. There we go, we got the authentication page. Now let's first build the UI, which is going to be that sign up and login card. And for this, what I'll do is I'll just say Chakra UI forms template. And so we could just really build this form ourselves, but it's going to take a lot of time, and there is nothing complex here. I'll just copy this code. As you can see, we got this. But now if I can just go and I can't just copy this, okay? If I I'm clicking and trying to drag and drop, it doesn't allow me. So I'll open up my console. In here, I'll just say document. Okay, I'll just select document dot design mode, and I'll say on. Initially it's off, but so it's like this, and we're just changing it to on. And so you could just go and copy this from HTML, but this is an easier way to do it. So I'll just copy, and inside the VS Code authentication page. So here, what I'll do is create a sign up component. So I'll say sign up card .jsx, and I'll just paste it. So this is what we got, and here inside the authentication page, I'll just show that sign up card. I'll import it from components, and this could be a fragment. Alright, I'll save it, but this is not gonna work if I save it because we don't have these Chakra UI icons. So I'll open up a new terminal, cd to frontend, and you need to do this because this is the frontend that we're working. So npm install, and I'll just copy this and paste it. Press enter. Now it's gonna install it, and let's save it. There we go, we got the sign up form. So let's just change it a little bit. So here I'll just delete this text, min height, as well as the background color. What should we do else? So let's just save this, and what we're gonna see, okay, I'll change this background as well, which is gonna be like this one, but instead I'll say this is gonna be gray.dark, right? Okay, and I want to change this button color as well, so I'll say sign up. Where is it? It's at the bottom. Okay, background, so we're gonna change it depending on the light mode and dark mode. So I'll say use color mode value, gonna be, let's say, gray 600 on the light mode, and on the dark mode it's gonna be gray 700, like this. And background on hover is gonna be use color mode on light mode is going to be 700 and 800 on the dark mode. So let's save, and this is our new color. Okay, in the light mode is like this. If you want to change some stuff, maybe with color, anything, just go ahead and do it. I'll not, so it looks good to me. And let's change this to full name, and it's going to be username. Okay, so I will go ahead and excuse me, so I'll just delete these IDs, we don't need them. Okay, ID password. Alright, now I'll say full name, and then it's gonna be username, and this is gonna be required as well. So I'll say is required, and once you do this, you'll get this asterisk. Okay, I'll save it, and there we go. Okay, now I will just copy all these, and I'll create login card as well. So login.jsx, I'll just paste it, and could say login card, and we'll change this heading to login. And here we're only gonna have 2 form controls, right? I can just delete this horizontal stack. We're just only gonna have the username to log in and the password. So it's gonna be text, and it's gonna be password. Okay, this is gonna be login, and instead of already have an account, we'll just say don't have an account, then just go ahead and sign up. And I really hate this ESLint warnings, so I'll just accept this a post, okay, like this. Okay, inside the authentication page, I'll now show the login card. So let's see. Okay, it looks a little bit small. For that, I'll just make it a little bit large. I think that should be this box. I'll say width should be so we'll just make it kind of responsive. On smaller screens and above, it's going to be 400 pixels, and on the base is so I would say, so base is actually smaller than this small breakpoint. Okay, so we'll just say full and put a comma. Okay, smaller screens and above, this box is gonna be 400 pixels, and below that, small screens is gonna be containing that full width. All right, now this looks better. So yeah, now we want to change. When we click to this, we want to see sign up form, and in the sign up form, when we click to that login link, we want to see this login form. For this, we can use a global state, which is going to be, we're going to use this with Recoil, and this is a state management library for React that is provided by Facebook or Meta. So let's go and get started. We already have a create React app or Vite app. Okay, npm install Recoil. I'll copy this, open up a new terminal. Inside the front end, I'll just paste it, and once it installs, let's just get rid of these errors, warnings. And in the authentication page, okay, we're gonna use this. So in Recoil, there is something called atoms. So every state is an atom, and I already created a folder, so we'll just put our atoms here. So first, let's say auth atom, and this is going to determine if you're in the login page or in the sign up page. And so like each atom is going to be one state. You can think of it as a slice in Redux if you ever use that, but if you don't worry, we're just going to see how it works. So now I'll say const auth screen atom, maybe, and then I'll say atom function, and I'll call it, import it, and then it's gonna take an object with a key, and this key is needed in order to Recoil just differentiate which atom is which one. So it's just a requirement, you'll just add it, and then you have a default, and in this case, by default, we want this to be a login page. And I'll export default this, and now here I can just grab this state. So I'll say const auth screen state, and it's going to be use Recoil value, and it's going to be auth screen state. We'll pass that atom inside. Okay, so it's kind of like use state, where whenever you want, you can get this first value, and you can also get this set value function. Okay, so it's really, so this is how it works. If you want to get this setter value, what you can do is const, you can use this hook, use set Recoil state, and this is going to give you that setter function, and you also need to pass which atom that you would like to use. I know it looks kind of strange, but you're gonna get used to it the more we use it. So here I'll just say let's console.log this. Okay, I can delete this, and I'll just save it. Let's go to the authentication page. We have an error. Let's see. So okay, in order to use this, we need to wrap our main JSX with this Recoil root. So we'll say Recoil root and wrap our application with that, so that it understands that we're using Recoil. I'll just save it. Okay, so our default state is login, and it's coming from here, right? So I'll just say delete this for now. I'll say if auth screen state is equal to login, then just show the login card, but else just show the sign up card. And we're gonna change this state. Just a minute. Okay, I'll just save it, and here, since we're in the login state, we're showing this login component or card. Now when I click to this sign up link, we'll change the state, and then we're going to change the UI. I'll go here inside the login card. Oops, so we didn't create a login card, we created, okay, it's login, maybe it should be login card.jsx, and I will say yes. So it's gonna update here. Okay, inside the login card, whenever we click to this link that's take us to sign up, okay, I'll say on click. Now we're gonna call this setter function. So here I'll say use set recoil state as the auth screen atom. Okay, import this, and this will give us the setter function. So you can just call it whatever you want, but I'll call set auth screen state, or maybe just set auth screen. Okay, I'll just copy this, and then here in an anonymous function, I'll say that this type or the value is going to be sign up. Okay, so what's going to happen when we click to this sign up link? It's going to update our state, and since it's going to be updated, it's not going to be a login, it's going to be sign up. So this part will run, and we're going to see the sign up card. Let's test. I'm going to click to that. Our state changed and our UI changed. Now when I click the login, I want to do the same thing. Just pause the video and try to do that. So now I'll just go ahead and do it. Inside the sign up card, when I click to this, so when I click to this login link, what I'll do on click, I will call my setter function. I'll accept it like this, and here I need to import that. So const set auth screen and use set recoil state and pass the auth screen atom. Okay, now we can save this and let's see. Okay, we don't have any errors. When I click to that, just watch, this state is going to change to login, to sign up, to login, and by default when you refresh the page, it is login because this is what we did here. If it was sign up, it's gonna, so when you refresh it, it's initially be in the sign up page. All right, so I'll just reset it back to login, and I think now we can just go ahead and mess around with this sign up functionality. So we could just wrap everything into a form, and when we click to that button, we would add on submit, but instead I'll just do on click to this button, I'll say handle sign up, which is going to be our function. So it's going to be asynchronous. I'll say const handle sign up async function, and here we'll do try and catch. Now in our catch case, you could say just console.log the error, but we'll actually handle that. So in order to actually send a fetch request, we need to add our proxy, and if you don't do that, you're going to get a course error. So here I'll just say proxy is going to be an object, and slash, so string slash API, and I'll just delete this, it's going to be also an object, and target is going to be our backend, which is HTTP localhost 5000, and change origin true, and secure is going to be false, and I think it's because HTTP and not HTTPS. Okay, once you do this, now like once we use it, you're actually going to see it, but what we did is actually get rid of the course errors. Okay, oops, I can come here and say get rid of the course error. Okay, so like this. Inside the sign up cards, I'll come here and I'll say const res, and it's going to be await fetch to where slash API. Now you might think you should say HTTP and like localhost 5000 auth sign up. It's actually not the case because we just put the target here, and all we need to do is just pass the API, and it's gonna prefix it with this target. Okay, so that's why I'm just gonna go ahead and say /API /users /sign up. And the reason is, if you remember in the backend, this is how we set it up, right? API /users inside the user routes /sign up, then we're going to call our sign up controller. This is how we set it up. So this is going to be a post request. That's why it's going to take an object method to post, and then we'll have the headers. It's going to be content type JSON, and we also have the body, which is going to be our inputs, and we forgot to do that. So let's for now just comment this out. In here we're just gonna have const inputs. Okay, actually it's gonna be use state, so inputs and set inputs, and I'll say use state. It's gonna be an object with name and username as well as email and password. So now we need to handle this. We need to just bind this to our inputs. So let's go ahead, and this is our first input. The way we're gonna do this is on change. We're only gonna change the full name, right, which is this name field. I'll close it like this, and to do the two-way binding, we're gonna say value inputs.name, and here is gonna be same, and just like this. And let's see, we're gonna have the email and password. Get the on change and the value, and for the password the input as well. Okay, so let's just on here actually just comment this out, and let's say console.log the inputs. So this is for testing purposes and sign up. So let's say John Doe @gmail.com, and let's just put some password, and there we go. We got the name, email name, password, and username. So we're gonna just submit this to our backend. In here I'll just say json.stringify our inputs, which is our object, and then what we're gonna get, const data res.json, and let's just console log our data. Okay, so let's go ahead and we put all the data. So let's say John Doe. Oh, we already have a John Doe user in our database. So I know that because we did this in the first part. This should give us an error. So let's try. I'll just sign up, and so promise pending API users sign up. Promise is pending because we didn't await this, right? Await res.json. So let's sign up again. I'll clear the console. So user already exists. Now if we have an error, I just want to check it by doing this, if data.error. But now what we have inside the data, oops, I'm sorry, so it should be like this. So I just want to do this if check, but in the data, when we have an error, we're getting this message field, which I don't really want this. I wish I in the backend part did this as error, but I didn't. So let's just fix that. I'll go to my user controller. So let's see, and for each error, instead of sending a message field, let's just change it to error. So I'll say error and copy this. So in the catch block, and wherever we are returning an error, we'll just change it to error. Okay, so here this is an error, and in the catch, so let's see, so this is also an error, this is an error, and so this one, okay, this is correct, so this is error, this is success. So let's see, so this is an error, so this one error, let's see, this one, this one, this one is kind of repetitive, but we just need to do this. Okay, this one also. Okay, I think that's it, and we're gonna do that for the post controller, but once we get there, I'll just do that. So for now, let's only change this, and the reason that we are doing this is because we just want our code to look a little bit more readable. Okay, it's just my preference, and I think it's just better. So if we have a data.error, I just want to show some toast. So I'll say const toast and use toast. I'll get this from here, and let's see. I'll say toast. It's gonna have an object. Title is gonna be maybe only error, we can say, and description data.error, so whatever we are returning from the backend, and status duration could be 3 seconds, and then closable true. So instead of in console, we're just gonna get that. Okay, so it's like it says you need to pass fill all the fields. Okay, so we'll say so I'll just go ahead and do this. So it's like I'm just going in random so that we don't lose any time, we don't waste any time. Okay, so we got that alert. But if you are in the success, and this should be returned at the end, because we just don't want to execute the rest. All right, if we have a user, right, that is signed up, what we want to do, okay, what is this? Unnecessary semicolon. Okay, that's right. So here, if we have a user, we'll just set this user to local storage. So local storage set item. So you could say maybe user info. In this case, I'll just go and say user threads, and JSON.stringify the data, which is our user, right? And it's because here, so in this sign up function, sign up user, this one, if we are signed up successfully, we're gonna send this object, and we're just gonna pass it or store it in the local storage. Okay, and I'll just save it. Now let's put some correct data. Okay, let's say test user. This should be test user test at test.com 1 2 3 4 5 6. Now if I just sign up and open up our application local storage, now here we just don't have anything other than our color mode, and if I just sign up, we're gonna get this user, and it is our object that we are getting from the backend. So once I sign up successfully, this should redirect me to the home page. Let's just handle that. And for this, I need another atom. So I'll say user atom.js. I'll say const user atom, and so it's gonna have the key, and the default value is gonna be, oops, so we're gonna get that from our local storage. So I'll say json.parse, and we'll get the user dash threads, and I think, yeah, that's it. So let's export this and import the atom function. Can close it. Okay, so initially, once we refresh our page or we visit our website for the first time, our default value for the user is going to be whatever we have in our local storage. So I'll just save it, and inside app.jsx, now I want to see if we have a user or not. So const user is going to be use recoil value, and pass the user atom. Okay, now if I have a user, then I just want to see the home page in this route, and in the else case, I wanna navigate my user to the authentication page. So it's gonna be like this. Okay, if you have a user, go to home page, else go to navigate to authentication page. So same is gonna be for the authentication page. So if we don't have a user, so it is not logged in, just go to authentication page, But if you are logged in, then just navigate to homepage. I copy this, paste, and this should be homepage. All right, now I'll save it, and now we should be in the homepage because we have some user in our local storage and in our state. So I can show that to you by opening the console, and here I'll just say console.log the user, and if we just save this, so this is our user state, and we just try to go authentication page, it's gonna navigate us to homepage, right? So let's add a logout button if we are logged in. So I'll just say if you have a user, then just show this log out button, which is a component that we're just going to create. I'll copy this components logout button.jsx and RAFCE to boilerplate. It's going to be a button, and let's see, so we're going to have the position as fixed, top so 30 pixels maybe, and for the right is going to be 30 pixels, and for the size we could just say small. So let's say logout, that should be button, not but. Okay, save it. When we click to this, we just want to clear the user from local storage, destroy cookies, and update our state. So let's do all of them one by one. On click, handle logout. So I'll copy this function, so const handle logout. Okay, maybe that should be async because we're gonna send a fetch request to our backend. So try catch, and for the catch, let's just say console.log the error, but we'll handle that in a minute. So inside the try, what we're gonna do, so local storage dot remove item user threads, and also what we'll do, we'll send the fetch request. Okay, we'll just do that in a minute. And also we want to update our state, so set it should be use set recoil state. All right, and pass the user atom. So we'll just say const set user. Okay, so we'll say set user to null, and here let's do the fetch. So let's see what was our endpoint. So I think it was inside the routes, so it's just logout and it's a post request. Okay, inside where it was logout button, we'll say const res fetch to API users logout. It's gonna be a post. So let's let the GitHub Copilot to autocomplete. Headers, content application JSON, I mean, and then we're not gonna send any JSON body, right? So we'll just say const data await, and let's just show that console log the data. And if we have any error, right, data.error, we'll use a toast, and all this should happen. I mean, so we'll just cut this and paste it here. If you don't have any error, then we will remove item from local storage and set user. So if we have any data error, so I could just come here and say toast and then put that 5 lines, but instead of that, I just want to create a custom hook, okay, so that our application looks a little bit cleaner. I mean, our code looks a little bit cleaner. So I'll just create a hooks folder, and I think I'll just say use show toast.js. We'll say RAFCE. This is not going to return any JSX or any HTML, so it's going to return show toast function. We will just create now and say const show toast, and so let's see what's going to take. It's going to take the title, description, and then okay, and then it's going to take the status as well, like to see if this is success or error. Okay, and we'll return a toast, but for that we should say const toast, use toast, import that, and we can just delete this line and we'll just call that toast, right? Just like this. So whatever the title that we're getting, whatever the description we're getting, and whatever the status, duration could be 3 seconds. Yeah, and I think we can just use the shortcut. So delete this. It just means the same thing, but we'll just put comma. Okay, so what we did, why we're using this. So every time that I need to use a toast, what I normally do is just do this toast and then put my object, so title, description, status, duration, and is closable. And then, so this should be toast, and then come here, say const toast, use toast. Now instead of every time doing this, what I'll do is I'll just say so here const show toast. I will call my function from my hook to use show toast, and that's just it. I'll just paste this, so I'll say show toast function, and it was getting the title, description, and status. So title is gonna be error, and description is gonna be data.error, and status is error. So this is why we're doing this, and I think we use that in somewhere else. So let's just go and update that. So in this way, now you guys know how to create a custom hook. So where did we use that? Inside the sign up. If we have an error, instead of doing all this, we'll just say show toast. Okay, and we'll say come on, so it's gonna be const show toast, it's gonna be use show toast, right? And we can delete this. We'll just say show toast function, and it's gonna be error like this, the title, and then description as well as the status. All right, here I can save this, and inside the logout we were, right? If there is any error, then we're going to show our error with a toast, and then we'll return out of this function. If there is not any errors, we will clear our local storage and clear our state. And inside the sign up card, did we miss anything? Okay, once we sign up, we also want to change our state, right? So we didn't did this. I mean, okay, so we'll get const set user, and we'll say use set recoil state, get user atom. Then here we'll say set user to this data, and data is the object that we're getting. Now I'll save this. Here, so inside main app.jsx, we import this logout button. Okay, so if we have a user, then we're just going to show the logout button, and since we are logged in, we're going to see that. And once we click to this, we're gonna clear cookies with doing that fetch request. We're gonna clear our local storage, and we're gonna clear our state. Now once I click to that, it should take me to the authentication page, because user is gonna be empty or null, and here we're in the home page, user is null, so this this navigate will run. I hope, hopefully it makes sense. I'll just click to that, as that JSON is not a function. So let's see, it is coming from logout button. Okay, nice. That should be a wait. Save this, and let's do this again. As you can see, user is null, and now we're in the login page. If I try to go home page, it's gonna take me to the auth. Okay, that's great. Now let's do the login functionality. So I think I will go to the excuse me, to the login card, and then once we click to this login button, I'll say on click handle login, copy our function name, and then const handle login is going to be async function. We're going to have try and catch. And did we handle the catch in sign up card? So we didn't. So let's just copy this. And if we have any errors, then we're just going to show this show toast, right? And inside the logout button as well. And by the way, I am doing Control E to get this window, which is file searcher. So logout button. In the catch, we will just copy this line, paste it, and delete this data. Okay, that's great. So now inside the, let's go to login card. Here, what we'll do, const press wait to fetch API users login, and we need to send our inputs. So again, const will get inputs, and we'll only have the username as well as the password. Okay, so let's just bind them to here. So value inputs.username, and on change we will only change the username. For the password, it's going to be same like this. Okay, so let's first test this. Console.log the inputs once we click to that login button. So here I'll say John Doe, password is 123456. I click to that, I get my state. Okay, if I have any errors, I will just I'll do const show toast and call our function, I mean our hook. So let's just say show toast error with the title, description, and status. In here we'll say it's gonna be a post request, right? Method is gonna be post headers, and then we'll have our body, it's gonna be JSON stringify our inputs. So let's say const data, and first let's say console.log the data, and let's just go ahead and test it. So John Doe 123456, I believe this is incorrect. Okay, invalid username or password. So if we have data.error, we're going to show that alert. So I'll just come here and I'll say if data.error, then show toast and return out of this function. And now it's going to show us a toast. That's great. Now if you go with the correct password, what I want to do is set the local storage, right, with this user. So we need to JSON stringify, and then we need to set our state, which was not set out screen, but it was const set user, and we can just say pass the user Adam into this set recall state. Okay, after this we'll say set user to the data, and let's console log the data to see what it is. It's actually our user, right? So let's go to user controller to see what it is, our login function, and we're just sending this object if we log in successfully, right? Okay, I'll save it, and since this is gonna update the user state, it's gonna navigate us to the home page, right? So I hope it makes sense, but I think it's just really clean and clear. So John Doe in 123456 So I'll just go ahead with this. It's gonna take us to the home page. Close this. So this is how we handle the authentication. Let me just go and do a really quick recap so that we're like in the same page. Okay. So what we did is we created atoms, okay, and each atom is just a state, and we can use it wherever we want. But in order to do that, first we need to wrap our application with this recoil root component. Okay, so we have one atom for authentication screen. It's either login or sign up, and by default it's login. And then we have a user atom. By default it is this, so we're getting it from our local storage. it's either null or it's that object that we have in our local storage. So we are doing our authentication. So in the authentication page, if we are in the login, so we're gonna, if the auth screen state is login, then we're just gonna show the login card, else we're gonna show the sign up card. And inside the sign up card, we have our state, and once we click to that sign up button, we are doing this fetch request to our API, and there is any error, we show a toast and return out of this function. But otherwise, we are setting this user to our local storage and updating our state. Since state is updated in our app.jsx, we're going to navigate our user to the home page. And once we log out, we have a user, we're going to show the logout button. And once we log out, we're going to clear that user. And since we don't have a user, it's going to take us from home page to the authentication page. So I hope it makes sense. And we also changed something in our backend, which is this error message. And it was just to make our code a little bit clean. Whenever we have an error, we don't return a message, but instead we just return an error. Okay, that was it. I hope you guys liked this video and learned something new from it. If you just want to learn more about recoil, just go ahead to the documentation. And in the next video, maybe we should be able to update the user profile. So I will try it, upload it as soon as possible. If you like this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you have any further questions, just go ahead and join to our Discord channel. And with that, I think I'll see you in the next one.